Warning, MF Uncensored contains adult language and discussion. Listener discretion is advised.
We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. What's the matter with misfits? That's where we fit in. We're not Duffy and Dilly. Don't go around willy-nilly. Seems to us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to MF Uncensored. Don't forget, if you guys are listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and basically anywhere you guys get your podcasts. You can also find more of our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you find links to not only this show, but our other shows like the Multiverse Fancast and Cinematic Adventures. You'll also find links to our news, reviews, articles, and to the Misfit store for all your Misfit swag needs. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Paul. With me in the studio, rolling his eyes excessively, is Sean. Sean, how are you today?
I am so glad you didn't fuck that up.
Oh, I tried.
You did try.
I tried. In the original take, I said podcast. What did I say? Podcast?
Applecocks?
Applecocks? Applecocks. Yeah, we stumbled a little bit, but here we are. Paul stumbled a little, but here we are, and we are excited because this is a rare episode.
It's a follow-up.
This is a follow-up to a Cinematic Adventures episode.
What?
So, recently... All right, and that's also part of what MF Uncensored was originally envisioned as, kind of a piggyback to some of our other shows. Recently, Sean and I did an episode. In fact, it came out on Tuesday of this week, so yesterday, and we took a look at Empire Online, I think it was, their top 100 list of...
Top 100 movie characters of all time.
And I have never seen Sean so mad. Wow, like the colors he turns.
It wasn't even mad at the choices. It was just mad at just whoever created that list is just go away.
Just go away.
Go away.
Damn Zoomers.
You actually submitted that and you're proud of yourself.
And it was the number one search on Google.
No.
Number one search. Most iconic movie characters. That list, number one. So I challenged Sean to create a list of his own, and he picked, I believe, about 20-ish. 20 of the most iconic movie characters.
These are just characters who I feel should have been on that list.
Even better.
I mean, if you want to listen to the list, listen to the Cinematic Adventure episode before you listen to us. I mean, there are parts of that list that I agree with. Maybe not in the placement, but at least they deserve to be on the list. There's a lot of characters on that list. I'm like, no.
And then, like...
I'm sorry. You cannot put the Minions on that list. And I like the Minions, but not one of the top 100 movie characters of all time.
You know who wasn't?
No.
You know who wasn't on there? This is going to bother me now. Shrek. Oh, Sean did it. Sean's got it.
Thank you.
All right. So,
Edna Mode? What the fuck are we doing here?
That's how that list started. It was like Edna Mode was like number 100, and then the Minions were like 96.
And every freaking Lord of the Rings character. I'm like, okay.
Except for Merry and Pippin.
I got a headache.
I know you have a headache.
God. All right. So I literally left here and was just like, okay, I know there's at least 10 names I could think of right now that I could put on that list.
I just imagine
and we went out that night for your birthday. And even when you made it to the bar, I turned to you and I was like, I've got almost 20 characters now. And Paul was just like, oh my God, you're still on this?
Still on it. There was no stopping.
All right. So
super passionate about it.
So and I'm hoping Paul will agree with me. Again, I'm not ranking. I'm not saying this should be number one. I'm just saying these characters should have been somewhere on that list.
I just imagine you sitting outside my house in your car just ruminating on it. Just like sitting there like...
I wasn't that bad.
Why was the Beast for Beauty and the Beast not on that list?
Okay, no, that one, stop.
The Genie.
You know what? I didn't even think of that one. I would prefer that over the Minions.
All right, so...
Or Edna Mode.
I'm going to have to really rein Sean in on this one. All right, so we're going to do your 20. If any pop out at me or any that I want to discuss, I'll throw it out there, and we'll go from there. So this is really a fun companion piece to our Cinematic Adventures episode. Yes. So make sure you guys check that out. You can either do it on our website, themisfitfaction.com, or you can go to anywhere you listen to podcasts, type in Cinematic Adventures, you'll find us there. All right, so Sean, we'll do 10 of them, and then we'll take a quick break, and then we'll follow it up.
All right. So first one that came on my list, Terry Malloy from On the Waterfront. Marlon Brando. Could have been a contender.
Who's Marlon Brando?
You don't know who Marlon Brando is?
Is he the guy that put his lines on Superman's diaper? Oh, you've never heard that? Really? Oh, here's a fun fact.
He didn't do that.
He did. Supposedly, he put his lines...
Supposedly. Did you talk to Richard Donner and he told you that?
Yes, personally. As a matter of fact. Big Dick and I, we go back.
Big Dick and I?
Yeah, Big Dick Donner.
You do
Big
get
Dick
around
Donner.
with big dicks.
Apple Podcocks.
There you go.
If anybody's tuned out by now, we understand.
But do you ever watch On the Waterfront?
I have not. I know of it, and I know
the
I could have been a
film.
contender.
Could have been contender.
Yeah.
Come
It's
on.
an iconic movie line.
Come
I will
on.
give you that one. Yeah.
We got Jake Giddies from Chinatown. Jack Nicholson.
Oh, yeah. There was I think the only person from, the only Jack Nicholson I think
Was on One
no,
Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then
And,
if you count him as the Joker,
and Taxi Driver.
that's De Niro.
That too. So thank you for reminding me of he should be on a list.
De Niro was on the list as Taxi Driver, as Travis Bickle.
So your guy, tell me more about him.
So Jake Giddies from Chinatown, private detective, 1930s LA, just one of the best film noirs you'll ever see. A character who, from the beginning of the movie, is all about himself, but as the movie progresses, he turns into trying to save a woman and her daughter from corruption and from an abusive grandfather. Just excellent movie. And then the character reappears in the sequel 20 years later called The Two Jakes.
The Two Jakes.
Two Jakes.
So not one Jake, but then a second Jake.
There's a second Jake.
Okay.
In that storyline.
All right, I'm with you on it.
All right. So.
Yeah, keep going. Dude.
Oh, okay.
This is your thing.
Okay, we got The Tramp, Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Now, again, you could say The Tramp is sort of, it could be any of his characters from those old silent movies.
Mm-hmm.
But at least in the silent ones, that's the character, The Tramp. Once he started to talk, the characters differed a little.
I agree. All right, here's one.
All right.
Kevin McAllister from the Home Alone franchise. I think for an entire generation of kids, he was the definitive child actor character that we all wanted to be. Did you not put Micro Machines out for someone to trip over on purpose?
No.
I have a problem. I should probably see somebody then. But I would say Kevin McAllister.
I don't hate it.
Better than some of the choices on
I
that
agree.
list.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
All right, so yeah.
Definitely high, though. Like
98, 99.
I'd say that's fine. We got Sam Spade from the Maltese Falcon.
You're going to go a lot of these classic movies.
I'm sorry. That's
digging
where
it.
my mind
I am
goes.
digging
That's
it.
where my mind goes. Dorothy Michaels from Tootsie, the Dustin Hoffman character, who the character he creates when he dresses up as a woman to get a role on a soap opera.
Yeah, that did not age well.
It's still funny.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, you ready? Dustin Hoffman as Raymond Babbitt from, help me out here, Rain Man.
That's a good one, too.
I still say that is one of the most iconic.
Kramer versus Kramer as well, too.
Holy crap.
Holy crap.
I got one.
You got one?
Sandy and Danny from Grease. Really? You don't consider Danny Zuko and Sandy iconic? What? You're so difficult.
Oh, you know what? Okay.
Okay.
I can give you that. Mary Poppins.
Ooh, yeah.
How's
Yeah,
Mary Poppins not
I'll
on
give
this
you that
list?
one. Yeah, that's a tough one. Austin Powers.
Dr. Evil, I have them together.
Okay,
Austin
that's
Powers,
fair.
Dr.
That's
Evil.
fair. That's fair.
Shrek and Donkey.
Shrek and Donkey. Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one, too. Babe the Pig. If you want to go kid
Oh, my-
movie.
Yeah.
Come on.
Who'd win in a fight? Babe or Gordy?
I never saw Gordy.
You never saw Gordy?
I never
Oh,
saw
man.
Gordy. I don't even know anything about that movie.
I would say that Babe just because he got more movies.
All right. So now, Ron Burgundy was on that list.
Yeah, he was.
No problem with it. I had no problem with it. It was high,
A little high, yeah.
but he's on the list. Borat.
Oh, I hate it because it's true, and I hate Borat.
I do hate Borat, but you have to give him his props. That character is absolutely memorable and iconic. I'd say, again, 90s, but I think he should be on the list.
It's going to bother me. How many of us that? How many did you do?
Probably 6 or 7.
Oh, okay.
We had Hannibal Lecter.
We did.
Clarice Starling should have been on that list, too.
Do you think Clarice Starling is that iconic?
Yes.
They recast her in the second movie.
Well, that's just Jodie Foster didn't want to do it.
But I would always say that Hannibal Lecter's if you're going to
I
pick from a
agree.
movie.
Hannibal Lecter is the character of that storyline, but Clarice Starling is a pretty iconic character too.
Mm-hmm. Jason Bourne. He got 17 movies. I
That's
still
4.
but you know what? It's still one of my favorite scenes in the 40-Year-Old Virgin where they're all in the sound booth and he's yelling at them, but they're watching Jason Bourne. I always thought Matt Damon was kind of a sissy, but like he really brings it in this movie. I still say that that's some of the best fight scenes of any movie.
Yeah. Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind.
Mm-hmm. I know that one pissed you off.
I was
you were
like,
really about
at least
it.
Scarlett O'Hara to me needs to be on that list, but you could put both of them. Edward Scissorhands.
I don't think he's that memorable, but that's
Okay.
just me. I'm not the like I like Johnny Depp, but I also like I could live without Johnny Depp.
I like early Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp?
I like 90s, early 2000s Johnny Depp.
90 Depp. Yeah.
Before he just got too much into the whole makeup thing in terms of
just the more eccentric the character.
Yeah. I mean, he did eccentric characters early on. I'm not saying against it, but that's all he would do now.
Was John McClane on the list?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. But what about R2D2 and C3PO?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
I know we're mentioning duos, but if we're gonna do one or the other, it'd be R2D2. I think to say
R2D2, yeah, more than C3PO. I think C3PO is also hated by a lot of people as much as
so
liked.
weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annie Hall, I think is
Annie Hall's a great choice.
one of the best female comedic performances.
Do one more, then we're gonna take a break.
Which one do I want to throw at you?
If not, I got
Alonzo Harris from Training Day, Denzel Washington.
that is a good one. I like that movie.
I mean, there's so.
Sean's so exasperated.
I'm sorry. I just, what? It really just bugged me.
I know
really
it
did
bugged you.
bug me.
It really bothered you.
It really did.
I'm actually all about it, though. All right, so with this weird halfway mark, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to finish up with some of the most iconic movie characters that were not on that stupid list that we hated. I think that
I hated you. You were indifferent to it.
I was indifferent because I didn't agree with all of it, but
Yeah.
for the most part, I was like, it is what it is. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to finish up Sean's list of better choices. I'm trying to think of a podcast name episode too, for the episode too, but anyway, we'll see. But first, a quick break. Hey guys, it's Paul, and the Misfit Faction is looking for your help. We are trying to grow not only our network, but also grow our brands, and the best way to do that is if you guys are looking to start your very own podcast. Maybe you guys have been listening to us for a while. Maybe it's something you guys have always wanted to do, but you're not sure how to get started. If you go to podbean.com/misfitfaction, you guys will get a month of free podcasting set as a gift from us. So make sure if you guys are looking to start your own show, you reach out to us and go to podbean.com/misfitfaction. Also, maybe you guys have your own online business or service that you're always looking to grow, and advertising is a very big part of that. If you guys go to sponsorship.podbean.com/misfitfaction, you guys can get $100 worth of free advertising, again, as a thank you from us to you guys. That's sponsorship.podbean.com/misfitfaction. All right, we are back, and I'm going to hit one right out of the gates for Sean. Superman.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
I was shocked.
Couldn't believe that.
Like, Batman wasn't even that high on the list.
No,
So, like...
couldn't believe that. I'm looking around, and I found another list that agrees with your Kevin McAllister placing. 99 on this list. Another one I like, Oda Mae Brown from Ghost, the Whoopi Goldberg character. She was a very good character.
You ready?
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
One of the definitive.
I mean, again, I'm trying to figure out Empire's, what's their groundwork, their ground rules for how to make this list, because they have literary characters, they have original characters. So Sherlock Holmes is a perfect example of that. The Frankenstein monster, Dracula.
You could talk about... Dracula's a big one.
This is a funny one. John Malkovich playing himself
As
in being John Malkovich.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was a good one.
You ready?
Hey, this list also agrees with your Sandy from Greece.
I know, it's probably because it's the same list that I
Oh,
grabbed.
you're really...
But you know who's one that I think should be on? Mr. Bean. I know he was way more TV, but he
He's
does have
TV.
a lot of movie credits to his name too.
I think it's more TV. I get where you're going with that, but and what shocked me was only one Daniel Day-Lewis character was on that list. Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York.
So good.
Like, come on, Jack Torrance from The Shining.
I mean, even we just did our episode on It.
Yeah,
I would argue that It is an iconic movie character. How about, you ready?
Yeah.
Captain Hook and Peter Pan.
I mean, I don't see why not. Annie Wilkes from Misery, Kathy Bates, another good one. Tony Manero from Saturday Night Fever.
I feel like horror movies really did not. Wednesday Addams.
We did. She was on, right?
She was on that list?
She was on that list because I
dang.
remember talking about her.
Role that Bruce Lee did. You know, you couldn't tell me the names, but
But
they were.
I mean, no offense to it's just I know it was the first one that came up when you picked it, but it's just the word
One you mentioned off air, Oscar Schindler.
Oscar Schindler, or even the Ray Fiennes character Amon Goth.
Sergeant Hartman from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Talk about a supporting character that stole more of the show than the actual main character.
Yep. But Dr. Strangelove you mentioned.
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
I'm not talking about the Johnny Depp version.
I
I'm
mean, you
talking
can
about.
combine them, but
I'm good, thanks.
I know you're good, and I'm okay with that. I agree. Gene Wilder. Yep.
Now, there was an entire subset that they didn't even mention, and that is, as you mentioned, movie monsters. Godzilla, King Kong, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula. Like, I'm shocked at that list. And like I said, if you guys haven't listened to that episode, you need to go back and listen, because we got to... Sean definitely got way more annoyed than I did, but like you could hear it at times. I was like, huh. Interesting.
Yeah, this list I found on greatest movie characters of all time by Premiere Magazine. I respect this list a whole lot more already. So I'm finding a lot of good things.
You might argue with this one. Buddy the Elf. I think he is a very specific genre.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to put George Bailey on the list with Christmas... Buddy the Elf has become a Christmas standard, as much as I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
But I understand it.
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
A character that, like, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Oh, God.
Michael Myers, I mean, if you want to go that route. I think Freddy Krueger is probably more iconic of a character, just because of the way the character progressed from the first movie to
oh my God, yes.
the later movies.
Martin Riggs.
Yeah. I think I said that to you at the bar.
Riggs and Murtaugh. Yeah.
I mean, if anything, Riggs more than Murtaugh, but I think because Riggs was just such a damaged character, and you saw what he was going through and stuff like that.
Zorro. I can argue. I can
argue
get
it.
behind
You can argue it. You can argue it. I don't hate it.
You don't hate it? The T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Argue that one.
I'll argue it. That's a little much. That's a little much.
The entire cast of The Room. You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Still never seen it.
Oh, you gotta watch that movie. It's so bad.
I'm good.
Ace Ventura.
That was on the list that we
was?
did. That was on the list. But Bluto from Animal House.
Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Robinson from The Graduate.
Oh, my God. That's actually a really good one.
We said Mary Poppins.
Jessica Rabbit.
I think Roger Rabbit more.
Oh, that's right. Ebenezer Scrooge.
There you
Oh,
go.
man.
There you go.
Some of these are Quint from Jaws.
Jaws.
Yeah, some of these are like
Glenn Close from Fatal Attraction is a great one.
Jiminy Cricket. Jack Skellington. Uh-huh.
No.
Really? Jack Skellington?
Not top 100. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm in like almost the top 200 at this point. Kermit and Miss Piggy.
There you go. You could argue more television because that's where they started, but
Yeah.
when
Draco Malfoy.
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. K and J from Men in Black. I think they're more of a duo that works better together.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Ethan Edwards, John Wayne from The Searchers, outstanding character.
Jaws from Jaws.
I mean, Carl Spackler from Caddyshack, Bill Murray. I mean, Cinderella story, this unknown, comes out of nowhere.
Now we're just naming people.
It's in the hole. It's in the hole.
All right, so before we just keep going. So what, in your opinion, makes a character iconic?
So, well, obviously, to me, it's the performance of the actor doing it. Now, if we're talking about a movie character, now that's where you could start to like go back and forth. Well, what does this list want it to be? Do you want it to be the 100 greatest original movie characters, the 100 greatest characters based on another, like property, like a book, a comic book, anything like that? So when you get to a list, to me, that doesn't have any, groundwork to it, you can go anywhere with it. But it just seemed like just poorly done. Again, there's a million lists out there. So, I mean, really, there's no definitive list.
Right. It's very subjective.
It's very subjective. It's subjective to the person who's making the list. I understand that. It doesn't mean I have to like it, but I understand it. If I made a list, it would be probably, I guarantee, totally different than what you saw there.
Well, I mean, even look at like you and me personally. Like
You and me differ on a lot of things.
Your list would have a lot more classic movie characters.
Yes, but I wouldn't go crazy with the.
Mine would have a lot more comic book characters.
As it would. I would totally get that with you.
Also, iconic movie characters go in waves, right? There are times where some characters are just more popular. Like Iron Man became insanely popular and then kind of catapulted superheroes back into the common lexicon.
So here's my question to you on this. So
Okay.
obviously superheroes are based off of a comic book.
Correct.
I get it. So to me, who are you considering iconic? The character of Superman, or are you considering the performance of the actor portraying Superman?
That's a great question. A lot of the lists we did just said the character. When I pick an iconic character, I also base it off the portrayal of said character.
I guess you should.
If you were to say Superman, iconic character, I'd be like, Christopher Reeves, iconic. Yeah. Henry Cavill, as much as I enjoy him, and I really do like Henry Cavill, I'm a big fan, he's not there.
No.
Like, Christopher Reeve is iconic as Superman.
I think if you polled 100 people and try to keep it even in terms of the demographic, you would have Christopher Reeve, you'd probably have Henry Cavill, and I think you'd get some George Reeves in there as well, depending on who you ask.
But like also for our generation, we have our Tom Welling, or we have our Tyler Hoechlin now, because he's been very popular.
Same thing with Batman. It depends on who you ask. Well, who is your iconic Batman? Is it Michael Keaton?
Who's your Batman? Is it Keaton?
It's probably Keaton, followed by Christian Bale.
Christian Bale's not my Batman.
You've said that numerous times, and I totally understand why.
Yeah, so it's weird.
You could also, some people might say Val Kilmer.
I do, as a kid,
some people might say Ben Affleck.
That's the right people. Those are the people
I
that
don't
are
know about
correct.
that. Calm down.
Now it's weird to say. It might be Pattinson actually.
I don't even know if it's Pattinson. I don't even know anymore.
I know. We can't even keep track of the type of characters, but like there are a ton of characters that I really enjoy, and this is gonna be messed up. But you know who wasn't on there? Jesus Christ.
Oh, from like
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ. But yeah, no, it's like if you look at these iconic movie characters, you're like, okay, well, if I want the Frankenstein monster on there, well, obviously it's got to be Boris Karloff as the Frankenstein monster. If it's Dracula, it's got to be Bela Lugosi. I guess you could also say it could be Christopher Lee, because both to me them are iconic.
Right.
Gary Oldman, as much as I loved him as Dracula, is not iconic as the character of Dracula.
Keanu Reeves was better in that movie anyway. Kidding.
I have no problem with Keanu Reeves in that movie.
But it's funny because a lot of these characters are characters that appeared in more than one spot, right?
Yes.
Which I can agree with that, but there's something about characters that are just so good in single movies. Like whenever I think of great characters, I always think of In Bruges.
In Bruges is a very good movie.
One day we'll
Such
talk
an
about
underrated
it.
movie.
One day we'll talk about it on Cinematic, but it is definitely one of
the most pleasant surprise movies I think
10
I've
trillion
ever
percent.
been to. Like we had no idea
what we were getting into,
what we were going to watch, and we just walked out of that theater going like, "Wow, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie."
Like that movie, we could do a whole podcast episode on.
Probably.
Like that is just such a great movie, and way better than it deserves to be.
Oh, absolutely. But the director of that movie has proven he's done numerous things, and all of his things have been very, very good.
Oh yeah,
very character-driven storylines.
One day we'll do a podcast either on this show or on Cinematic where we talk about directors and director styles and who'd win in a fight, director battles, all that stuff. But are there any other characters that really jump out at you? Like when you think of a movie that's defined by the character.
By the character.
Yeah. I hate to say it, like The Dark Knight jumps to mind with the Joker because it's not really a Batman movie, it's a Joker movie, and Batman just happens to be there. I would even say, who's not on there? I'm kind of surprised, The Karate Kid. Especially with the big resurgence of
I would think
Cobra
Mr.
Kai.
Miyagi would be more of a character than
Daniel LaRusso. Daniel LaRusso's going to fight?
Doc Brown was on the list.
Doc Brown and Marty,
and Marty was on the list. It's hard, man. It's like it's trying to think of just other major characters and what movies I can think of that I can't remember if they were on the list or not.
But even like we're going to talk about Hocus Pocus next week. I'd argue that at least as much as Bette Midler did other things, like for a whole generation, she's that character.
Absolutely, I agree with you there.
Yeah. I know, right? This is a tough one.
I mean, Braveheart, Mel Gibson is
that's a
one.
really good one. I will actually full-heartedly. So let's also, since we're here, television, iconic television characters. I know I'm throwing you on the spot here, so take a minute. We'll do some brainstorming. We'll talk it out, and hopefully we'll get there. So let's take a quick break. So now that Sean has had 4.5 seconds to think of something, I'm going to go first. I'm going to say Tina Belcher from Bob's Burgers. She's one of
Really?
those. I think she's hilarious, and I think
She is hilarious. I won't
she's
deny that.
so well written, and I just always laugh. Go.
The Fonz.
That is a solid choice. Hey,
Yeah.
Jack Bauer from 24.
Jack Bauer's very good. I love Lucy Ricardo.
Oh,
Lucille
yeah.
Ball.
Oh, I love that show. Dr. House from House.
Homer Simpson.
All right, who would you prefer though? Homer Simpson or Peter Griffin?
Homer Simpson.
You are more of a Peter Griffin kind of guy. I'm just kidding. You are obviously a Homer Simpson kind of guy.
I mean, it's the same freaking character, but I mean, like
Castiel from Supernatural.
God, you have such a thing for him.
I was gonna say Dean, but I'm gonna go Castiel first and then save Dean for.
I'll save Dean for another time.
Yeah.
I got you. I mean, you want to go
Dean Winchester. That's a good one, Sean.
Yeah, there you go. Don Draper from Mad Men.
That is a solid choice. I will.
Tony Soprano from Sopranos.
I think in future years we're gonna look at Homelander from The Boys, just because he's friggin' terrifying.
Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunkers is a good one. I'm trying to think, just like this is also a lot of off the top of my head type stuff.
Mulder and Scully.
The parents from Modern Family, the Dumfies.
The Dumfies are funny. Yep.
But I do like Mulder and Scully. Anyone else that's jumping out at you really hard?
Cartman from South Park.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that. Cartman's another character that he's just such a terrible character, like a terrible person. But
see now, you know what just hit me?
What just hit
on
you?
The
Are
Empire,
you okay?
in the Empire list, James T. Kirk was on that list, but not Spock.
That is true.
Well, Spock and Kirk are two TV characters that you could say are probably iconic from the original Star Trek. R. Ewing from Dallas.
Oh, that's a good one. Here's one I don't think you're going to agree under any circumstances, but Goku from Dragon Ball. Iconic.
I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan, but I totally understand why. The cast of Seinfeld, any four of them.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah.
You got like one or two more in you in the tank there?
We got Alex P. Keaton.
Alex P. Keaton. Yes.
Yeah, trying to find a really good one.
Good one
that would just,
Dawson from Dawson's Creek.
Frasier and Niles Crane from Frasier.
That's
to me
a good
are
one.
Two of the greatest characters ever created. Kermit the Frog. I know we talked about him with the movies. Yeah, but I know there's more that we're not thinking. Lenny Briscoe.
Lenny
from
Briscoe.
Law and Order.
Buffy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy's good. Yeah.
Yeah, we got television's a totally other beast because unfortunately you get the benefit of not only writing for so long for a character, but also getting the chance to change the character up.
Yeah.
Like you don't have.
Especially with long-term shows, you see a growth of a character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I know producer Melanie's favorite TV show is Friends.
Right.
Look at how they grew the Jennifer Aniston character from the first season into what she becomes in the final season. I mean, talk about a character growth.
Oh yeah.
So it's really great when you see that, and it's not just a character just staying the way they are for the entire, which sometimes may work, but in certain aspects of a show, a lot of times you want to see a character change a little. But it also depends on the type of show you're doing.
Yeah. Here's one for me. Scratch that. Here's one I just totally forgot. Pick something quick because I lost my train of thought.
Hawkeye Pierce from MASH.
That actually helped me think of it. Daredevil. Because how often have we seen such a huge demand for an actor to come back and play a role?
That's true.
He was fantastic. Charlie Cox as Daredevil. But
Vic Mackey from The Shield.
I remember watching The Shield. It was never really for me because it was a little too adult for me.
At the time. Yeah. Paul's mind couldn't handle it.
Aubrey Plaza from.
You watched Nip Tuck, didn't you?
Yeah. Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec. She plays. She's one of those characters that everybody just loves.
Steve Carell from The Office is one that everybody loves.
Have you seen The Other Office, like the original?
I've seen snippets of it on YouTube.
Just snippets?
Just snippets.
Yep.
Different kind of humor.
Obviously, Tony Soprano.
I said that.
I know you did. I'm just going through another list myself. There's a lot. There's so many. There are infinite lists.
It's crazy. TV's been around since 1948. Not as long as movies has, obviously, but we're talking 70 plus years of television.
Stewie Griffin.
Yeah, I guess. Talk about a character that's gone from one way to the other.
What do you think of Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother?
Stinson? I don't know if I put him as iconic, but
I think
memorable.
at the time he really was. Like everybody loved Barney.
I mean,
it's even funnier because
it was just the total opposite of Neil Patrick Harris was.
Harold and
hysterical.
Harold and Kumar was
the reasoning behind what he got.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
I did not. Walter White.
Yeah, Walter and Jesse.
And Jesse are both excellent characters.
And then also a lot of Game of Thrones. You got Tyrion Lannister. You got Arya Stark. I never watched it. I know producer Melanie did.
Nah, never had
Not
a real
really.
interest in it.
Yeah. But anybody else that jumps out? Saul Goodman from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad.
I'm trying to think of some older TV shows that I like a lot.
Tom and Jerry. Scooby-Doo.
Scooby Doo. There you go. That was a good
Miss-
one. The Flintstones.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
Sheldon Cooper. Obviously the whole
I'm
cast.
so done with the Big Bang Theory. Oh my
I
God.
still love that show.
I'm sorry. Every time I go to my parents' house, that's all they're watching.
Will Smith from Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince, yeah.
Yeah.
Zach Morris.
Zach Morris is trash. Snoopy.
Yeah, Snoopy. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, Peanuts are definitely TV because they were TV specials.
Yep. Steve Harrington. Oh wow. Yep. I can get behind that one. Dean Winchester. Cookie Monster. Now we're just
Bird,
reading things.
Big Bird.
Big Bird. All right, so I think that's
good.
that is a fun place for us to leave off, and this was a fun episode to kind of throw on. So make sure if you guys have
I feel better now.
I know you look better.
I look better. Get that hot garbage out of the air.
Wafting. But don't forget, guys, if you didn't listen to that episode, make sure you guys go to themisfitfaction.com or Cinematic Adventures on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. It's our most recent episode. So that way it kind of gives you some context for this one. But we had a lot of fun. I kind of threw this on Sean at the last minute. And I'm just glad he came prepared with at least 20 names because we just did 400 off the top of our head.
If I had come to you with 400 names, I don't think you would have been very happy.
I would have made it work.
Yeah, you would have.
Would have told you to get out of my house, but anyway.
But you just already told me to do that.
Yeah. It's just subtle. But that's going to wrap us up for today. Don't forget, if you guys are looking for more of our content, our website, themisfitfaction.com. You can also find us on all forms of social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Just type in the Misfit Faction. Odds are you'll find some of our material. So, that wraps us up for today.
Wrapping it up.
Yes, we are.
There we go.
All right, then. As always, I'm Paul.
Yeah, I'm Sean.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Fuck off.